Thank you, everybody, for watching We're Curious, episode 18. The theme that I'm going to be focused on is grief. At most of my funerals throughout my 40-plus year career, I have spoken about grief. I think that this is something that people are uncomfortable acknowledging, or they just simply don't know for sure how to handle it. Now, let me start off by a definition. The definition of grief is simply the sadness and sorrow or anger or other feelings we have after the loss of someone or something. So we might be not only just lost that someone dear to us has died, but we may also be experiencing grief if we've lost our job, if we have lost our health, if we feel lost for what used to happen in the past, and the list can go on. And so we need to be able to realize that this is part of life. This is part of what it means to be human, is to have grief, but it's also important to be thinking about how do we handle our grief. Now, there's a spectrum in terms of grief. We can have grief that is just temporary. So, for example, today, my Iowa Hawkeyes lost to, of all teams, the Iowa State Cyclones. Now, after the game was over, there was a few minutes of grief. I'm not going to lie about that, but am I going to dwell on it? No. On the other hand, there is trauma that we experience in our lives, and that trauma will stay with us for the rest of our lives. And so that when we experience grief under that context, we especially need to own up to that grief and understand what is the best way to handle it. I just started, when we have session number 4 this Tuesday, a grief support group. And that the book that we're reading and discussing is a book by Alan Wolford. And Alan Wolford has been in the field of providing grief support and providing education and training people to lead grief support groups for over the last 40 years. And one of the things that he contends is that there are 10 touchstones to overcoming, or not overcoming, but to work through our grief. Now, I'm not going to go through those 10 touchstones, and perhaps if you are interested, that perhaps I'll do a video on that. But what is really important is that we acknowledge our grief. It's important to remember that Jesus grieved. Jesus grieved in the Garden of Gethsemane. He knew that just in a few hours he was going to be arrested. He's going to be falsely charged, have a kangaroo court, and then be executed. Jesus grieved that he's one time was looking over Jerusalem, and that he knew the day was going to come that Jerusalem was going to be destroyed. He grieved when his friend Lazarus had died. And there are other points of when Jesus grieved. And so what I want to encourage you is that if you have an opportunity to watch, I had 2-part sermon series on grief. And so on August 31st, I talked about understanding grief. And then on September 7th, I spoke about grief, how we are able to cope and handle and be able to move forward with our grief. In order to see these sermons, it is on YouTube under First Christian Church Bonner Springs, and also on our Facebook page, which is again First Christian Church Bonner Springs. If you want to know more, please feel free to contact me. If you've got my phone number, you can call me, text me, or you can private message me on Facebook, or just simply make a comment down below. This is something that I could talk for a long time, and I'm trying to keep these videos brief, but that this is an issue that's very near and dear to me, that it is liberating in the long run, especially if you're dealing with a very difficult grief, that there is the opportunity for a new life, and that new life is something that God gives to us. You can see right here that I'm wearing a t-shirt that you probably can see that says Arise, but I don't know if it's showing that says Detroit. Now, I've been to Detroit 11 times and absolutely love the city. 10 of those 11 times, I was there on a mission trip. Most of you may know that Detroit has been the poster child of urban decline. What has been beautiful during those years of going up to Detroit is that there has been a comeback, a renaissance, a revival, a transformation. When I first got there, you could hear a lot of grief that was going on about the Detroit that used to be. But what people finally did was finally to accept that the past is not going to happen, and that there's an opportunity for new life to happen, to become a new kind of Detroit. That is what the gospel offers. The Apostle Paul speaks in 2 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 16 through 17, and Galatians chapter 6, verse 15, that our old selves die and that we become a new creation in Christ. I am grateful that you took time to listen to this video. I hope and pray that it's helpful. I pray that you can feel that the Spirit speak to you. Please take time to like this. It helps draw more people to watch my videos. I also post on YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram. Also, if you happen to be in the Kansas City area, we'd love for you to come and visit us for worship. We have it every Sunday at 10:30 a.m. We're small, but as I like to say, mighty. There's a lot that we actually do for a church of our size. It's a church that is Spirit-filled. And so if you, again, are interested, please feel free to come. God's blessings to you and much love to every one of you.